my name's Amanda and welcome to the next block tutorial in my House Block Quilt-Along. The block we will be making for this tutorial is this one here. I am calling this one 3 Terraces because there are 3 little terrace houses right there in the middle. I really love this block. It's so quirky and fun. I chose to do 3 different colours for each of the houses or terraces. I kept the roofs all the same colour, and then I chose to do grass and like a dirt path heading up into the houses. On reflection, I think this one would be a really great one to do like 3 little beach huts, replacing the green grass for sand. I think that would be really quite cute. My favourite feature of this block is actually the half square triangle doors. I just wanted to do something a little bit different to just a square or a rectangle for a door, and so I think the half square triangles just make it really quite cute and quirky. So I really encourage you to be as creative as you can with this one, or of course you could just stick to a really simple color palette and just make it really more personalized to your taste. Now of course, before you start, don't forget to click on the link below to the free pattern. It's a really easy download for you to obviously download and print, and don't forget to take full advantage of the coloring page that comes with the pattern so you can sort out what colors and themes you want to do for your own block. Okay my friends, let's move on and learn how to make the 3 Terraces block. To begin, cut out all of the pieces for this block following the cutting and measurement instructions in the pattern linked below. Start by laying out a square door piece alongside the bigger square house piece. Then mark a diagonal line on the wrong side of the house square with a ruler and pencil. Evenly place this piece on top of the door square, right sides facing, and pin them securely together. At the sewing machine, sew a 1/4 inch seam to the left of the marked line, removing the pin as you go. As an optional step, you can sew along the other side of the marked line, but you won't be using this other half square triangle. With a ruler and blade, cut along the marked line. Set aside 1/2 for another use, and then press the other one open towards the darker side of fabric using a hot steamy iron. Then trim the half square triangle to a perfect 2.5 inch square using a blade and set square ruler. Next, lay out the half square triangle door unit to the right of the smaller square house piece, with the rectangle piece along the top. Turn the smaller square onto the half square triangle unit. Pin them together and then sew a 1/4 inch seam along this edge. At the ironing board, gently press the seam away from the half square triangle unit. Then flip the rectangle piece over onto the pieced bottom half, line up the top edges and pin them together. Sew a 1/4 inch seam along this edge and then press the seam upwards towards the rectangle piece. Set this section aside as we move on to piecing the roof. Lay out a roof rectangle and 2 sky squares. Then mark a diagonal line along the wrong side of each of the sky squares with a pencil and ruler. Evenly place 1 square on top of the roof rectangle, ensuring the marked line is travelling from the centre to the left-hand corner. Pin the pieces together and then stitch on top of the marked line, removing the pin as you go. Carefully trim off the excess corner, leaving a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then gently press the triangle corner open with the iron. Then repeat the same steps to sew on the other sky square to the roof rectangle, creating a flying geese unit. Lay the house and roof sections together. Flip the roof over, line it up with the top edge of the house section, and then pin them in place. Carefully sew a 1/4 inch seam along this edge, and then press the seam inwards towards the house section. After following the same steps to piece together the other 2 houses, line up each one together in the order they'll be sewn. Flip the middle house over onto the house unit to the left. Evenly line up the center seams and pin them together. Stitch carefully down this edge, and then at the ironing board, open up the seam with your fingers and then press flat open with the iron. This will help to reduce bulk and allow the block to sit flat. turn over the remaining little house and line up the center seams like before. Pin the edge together and sew a 1/4 inch seam along it. Press the seams flat open first with your fingers and then follow with the iron. Then, if you have an uneven top edge like I do, grab a ruler and line it up with the shortest edge, ensuring the 1/4 inch seam allowance line is sitting evenly with the roof points. Trim off the excess, leaving behind a straight top edge. Lay out the top sky section rectangle. Flip it over and pin the 2 edges evenly together. Sew a 1/4 inch seam down this edge, removing the pins as you go and ensuring all seams are lying flat as you stitch over them. And then press the seam upwards towards the sky section. To finish the last section of the block, lay out the grass and path sections in this combination, always referring back to the pattern if you're not sure about the exact placements. Take the pieces in this order to the sewing machine and then stitch them together one after the other. At the ironing board, press each of the seams inwards towards the path sections, and then give the top a good overall press too. Lastly, lay the 2 completed sections of the block together, and flip the bottom one over onto the other. Line up and nest together the path seams with the 3 door unit seams, and pin them securely together. At the sewing machine, sew one last 1/4 inch seam along this edge, ensuring seams are flat before sewing over them. Gently press the seam away from the middle of the block and then press out any last wrinkles. To finish, use a set square ruler to trim the edges of the block so that it measures a 12.5 inch square. Now, as always, don't forget to share your beautiful blocks with me. I love seeing what you're making and creating. The best place to share your photos with me is on Instagram using the hashtag Amanda's House Block Quilt-Along. And also don't forget to tag me at 3 3/4 and I will definitely see your beautiful blocks. So far there have been some really wonderful blocks made. I'm so blown away by some of the creative choices you guys are making, and your blocks are just looking great. So don't forget to share them with me. I love seeing them. So I hope you enjoy making this next block in the series. Block number 3 is in the works and should be out with you very, very soon. A quick hint about the next block is that it features 2 very tall houses. So until then, my friends, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you sometime very, very soon. Bye bye.